think there's this big division within the new conscious thought. Do we create a reality, or are we subject to something greater than ourselves?
I think what we need to do is change our way of thinking so that we start to change our experience to a greater awareness of what we are. Yes, we're still going to look like we're in bodies and feel like we're in bodies, but that experience can start to change to the point where you can experience your body differently. You can start to feel less pain, less suffering. The body can start to feel more like a figure in a dream rather than this heavy thing that you've been carrying around all of your life. And these are positive changes that can come about. Pardon?
Your body feels like a heavy thing you've been carrying around all your life?
I think, no, not for me, but I think that for a lot of people, yes, it does feel that way. And you can change your experience of the body simply by changing the way that you look at things, and that's what leads to a different experience.
We have to be very careful of dualities here with everything. When we talked about dualities, it's not either or. It is true, sometimes we can focus our thoughts and help to create our reality. It's absolutely true.
Well, I think
other times, though,
when is it not true that we're not creating our reality? When is it not? I mean, if you say that we are, then it must be true that we are creating this world out there somehow.
That's just simple. I was on a phone-in program, and somebody phoned in the following thing. I was with my sister on the London Underground, and my sister said, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm trying to get someone to smile." And she's on the Underground, and she's looking around, trying to get one person in that carriage to smile. And in the end, some guy, like, grins and gets up and just hugs her. And she thinks, like, that guy's going out. What's he going to do? So a person took a tiny, 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 minuscule responsibility, 1 millimeter of responsibility for trying to change somebody's day. Now, not flying, I mean, that's changing reality. Yeah. In a different sort of way than we're talking about. And I think we all have a responsibility to that.
And we have the power to do it too. I think we do have the power to affect what's happening to us with our thoughts and our intentions. You see, what I've learned is if you're looking in the mirror and the person in the mirror doesn't look happy, you can't go up to the mirror and make that person smile. The reality has to come from inside first.
I absolutely agree with that.
But I'm asking you to clarify whether you are saying that we sometimes create reality by our thoughts, and there are other times we don't create reality by our thoughts.
That's true.
And how can you make that distinction?
Because everything isn't linear, and there are many mysterious forces at work other than the linear mind that says we create this, or A plus B equals C. There's karmic forces that come in. There's the soul's development that comes in that goes beyond what you want or what you don't want.
Right. You see, I think the problem here is defining the human being too narrowly. We're really much bigger than the thing that happens or doesn't happen to us.
I don't think that karma necessarily has to be acted out. We can alter our karma. We do not have to slavishly work out every burden we carry in from whatever previous incarnation. It's not necessary. It can be changed.
But I think what we could start to conclude here is a sort of greater definition of consciousness and who we are. And, you know, these are just polarities in this argument.
This discussion is very important, and I'm very glad we're having it, because I think it brings a certain perspective and reality to what people need to consider in their own lives. And they need to tune in for themselves what is most real for them. We're presenting different points of view. I love that. I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely, it's wonderful.
And it's not to believe their own thoughts either. It's to see that they're bigger than who they thought they were.
Yes. Their feelings, but
one must go beyond one's own script to realize that we're all part of this great act of the universe at work within ourselves. We construct ourselves, we construct each other as consciousness becomes aware of its greater power. And in that greater sense, there is a spiritual synergy, there's a spiritual ingredient within each of us that comes to the fore. And I believe that we're at a dynamic point of history whereby the spiritual and the scientific side are converging. And we see this through the film, we see this through the interaction here, but we also see that we have a long ways to go because of the narrow restrictiveness of language. We have to take on as the greater dance, the greater music, and that's where the artistic comes in, that brings the scientific and spiritual, or scientific and psychological into harmony. We are at a cusp, we're at a horizon of recognizing that other dimensional intelligence may have a very strong role to play in the way our evolution goes forward.
And I think that's what you were saying, Miceal.
Well, I think we're at, that was mentioned earlier by JJ, we're basically in a situation now where we're beginning to see that I am not just a creature who is affected by the world outside me, but that the world that I see is one projected from within.
I think that is also how we create that reality, to see.
Well, I think, you know, in traditional medicine, the paradigm is changing too, that there's an increasing expansion of bringing spirituality and awareness of intuition into medicine, which makes me so happy and is my mission to bring that into health and healing. So I think the paradigm is really increasing in medicine and will continue to increase over the next decade.
So let's ask them, where, as the kind of sort of wrap, where are we going? What's the vision that you see for a future integration of all this?
Oh, yeah, I just like something really, really simple. Not something really simple, like I'm going to get out of bed and what can I do today? Well, what's a little thing I can do to make the world slightly better? Not a big deal thing.
But where does this new understanding of science, quantum fields, and consciousness fit into a future time?
Well, you know, if you yourself are getting attuned, then it's going to follow. I think it's going to follow. The individual scientist, if he can take that little responsibility, just to look into themselves.
So what does the future look like to you as the universe disappears?
Well, you've been asking where this is going.
Yeah.
And I think where it's going is all about the empowerment of the individual to realize that they can shape their own experience of life. In the past, religion was more about empowering the institutions and the religions. I think the new spirituality is about empowering the individual to take responsibility for their own experience and to realize that they have the power to shape that. And I don't think it matters whether you're a physicist or a taxi driver. It's going to be the same for everybody. Everyone is eventually going to realize that how they experience life is within their grasp and within their power.
Do you see the paradigm changing for the planet then itself?
I think so, yeah.
In which way? What does it look like in the future?
Maybe, as Pauli said, the return of the world soul.